Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. We are back on Lake Houston for some late summertime bass fishing. It's the dog days of summer. It's the end of August. The day I filmed this, the high was 97 degrees, but got a few good things we did in this video. One, I overloaded you guys with information. I know some of you guys just like to watch fishing. Other guys are hunting for information. Well, this is your video now. I made this one a little bit long, but it is like me going through my day, giving you guys lots of details. And also, we are fishing old school. There is no graphs on the front of this boat yet. Eventually, I'm gonna put a live scope on here, but this is old school fishing that we're doing in this video. So you guys are gonna see how I use my instincts to find the fish, and I'm gonna give you lots of details. But anyways, if you happen to be brand new here, I would love to have your support on my channel. Believe me, it does a lot for guys like myself that does YouTube for part of their living. So definitely hit that subscribe button. If you found any value in today's video, give us a thumbs up. Guys, we're gonna get on Lake Houston. We're gonna go catch some bass. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna give you kind of a walkthrough on the baits and the techniques that I use to catch them. Anyways, let's go fishing. Situation right here with the wind coming down. Oh, it come off. That was a decent fish. So what we're doing, just got out here, found kind of a main lake point. There's some wind blowing right down here. Picked up the buzz bait. Anytime I get in like a windy situation where you have wind right beside the bank, that's usually ideal. And it's going to be blowing today, so I'm probably going to do a lot of pitching and flipping. That's definitely going to happen. We're going to be targeting some boat docks. But right now, while it's still kind of early morning, we got shade. I'm going to definitely give these like shaded areas a good go. And I'm still kind of bummed. That was probably a 2-pound bass. That was a nice one, but that one hit old 3-blade Strike King buzz bait. Just a great lure for August, September, especially on these kind of, I'm gonna call them river lakes, where you got like, mainly it's river water. The water's usually never clean looking. But golly, there was another one as soon as that buzzbait hit the water. I might have to put on treble, or not a treble hook, but a trailer hook. That one wasn't big, but it ought to be a good day. Part of me's saying rig up a spinnerbait, so we may give that a go, being it's still kind of early morning hours. That was unfortunate. That's 2 fish, just bam bam. So what we're going to do real quick too, that's 2 fish that hit me real quick. I'm going to pick up this KVD splash and see if we can't get them to commit to that. Sometimes just changing your top water will work. Give this guy a few casts. We're going to keep going on down this bank. So the bank right here, it's probably a foot to 2 foot. There's a lot of areas on this lake that are just silted in. The early morning hours are when you can catch a lot of shade up by the banks. The fish will be like dirt shallow. So don't be scared to throw up shallow like I'm doing. And throughout the day, we're going to stay dirt shallow. If we can get that one to come back and hit this. lone cypress tree kind of by itself. I do not want to not pitch at it because a lot of times too, these lone cypress trees, they will have fish on them. There he is. Man, we are 0 for 3. It's not off to a good start, fellas. That's okay. We're just getting the bad luck out of the way. That's funny. 2 fish I might can catch again. That first one, definitely no. I'll try this one more time because he bit it and swam out, so maybe he come back. Of course not. So we're about 6 inches of water right here. 6 inches to a foot. There's all kinds of just scattered limbs. Old logs that are just sunk here in the sand. So really you have kind of 2 spots within the spots, I'm gonna call them. You have the right up against the bank that's got all these cypress knees on it, and right here in front of me you got some lily pads too. So I can still get bit right here because I know there's all kinds of just logs here and there under the water. You just gotta get lucky and roll over the right log that's got a bass underneath it. Lone cypress tree. And I missed all my opportunities, finally. Go. Fish number 1 on the Ned rig that we're going to actually land. I spoke too soon. 0 for 4. I know what the problem is. I got to fix it. Look here, fellas. Today, I ain't superstitious, but that's the bad luck. We got to eat this guy, then we're going to be right back. So this cypress tree should have one on it. That's if I don't miss him. I'm gonna give it 3 good casts. Another thing too I like doing is hitting the cypress trees just like that. 5th time was the charm. So what I was talking about is actually hitting the cypress tree with this buzz bait. So I'd hit the tree and that made this fish react to that bait. So hey, we finally got one. The 5th time was the charm. But this lake usually, one spot's good for 1 fish. So I doubt there's another one up there. but we're just gonna give it benefit of the doubt. Give it a good couple flips, but usually this lake, one spot, one fish. But there could be another one on any of those cypress trees on the other side of this dock, or this dock right here itself. Thought I got a bite right there. I was getting excited. About to eat my words. Also too, ladders on boat docks on this lake always are good to pitch. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. We're gonna flip all these boat docks and we're just gonna mainly focus on shade. That's all we're gonna work on. Might be a cypress tree thing too today. A lot of good cover around here. We'll pitch the front side of it. There's some bulkheads, but there's one log right beside it. Still got some more structure. I'm not really picking this apart, just hitting the highlights only. I mean, there's no reason to pick the structure apart. If it was springtime and they're spawning, that's a little different, but any other time of the year, give them something to look at quick and they'll either eat it or they won't. Had a brim hit me. That brim got wise, he decided to let go. He almost went for a ride. He hit it, let go, hit it, let go, finally got it. So I think they're gonna be on cypress trees right now. So that's kind of one thing, you know, I let them talk to me. So that's fish on cypress tree over there, fish on this cypress tree. Pretty much the first 4 were on cypress trees or cypress knees. So that's gonna be our focus right now. So I'm gonna kick this trolling motor on high. There's a few more cypress trees along these boat docks right here. And I started right across from here. I forgot my ice chest in my truck, so after that 4th fish I missed, I was getting kind of thirsty. Ran back to the truck, stopped here because we got a good opportunity to fish this shade, so that's what we're keying in on real quick. But now that I feel like they're all on cypress trees, I'm just gonna go run and hit cypress trees. That's all I'm gonna focus on until that bite slows down. So there's one lone bush right out this way we're gonna hit. There ought to be a fish on it. We'll hit this bush, then we're gonna come over to this point right here. Just one lone isolated piece of structure. Guarantee nobody else has fished it today. If there's anyone of any kind of fishing talent that come by here, they would have hit it, but I feel like, you know, most people probably wouldn't hit that. That ought to be the cat. Still believe there's a fish on there. Looks like I'm wrong. Wrong for right now in this moment, but I guarantee at some point during the day there'll be a fish or two that move up on there. I hadn't seen a whole lot of shad activity this morning. There's a good one. Right here on the point. Probably a 13-inch fish. So this one, he ate off this point right here. This is a Strike King 1.5 that I'm throwing, but that fish is fat. He's ate a lot of shad. So this is just a little lily pad point, and it's just leading up to where I started the day and missed 4 fish real quick. So wanted to give that another go before I, write it off completely. That's too many bites down that one stretch. And the reason why I left it, I had to go get my ice chest that was in the back of my truck. So the water depth right here is probably about 3 foot. Usually these lily pads right here, they're in a foot to about 3 foot. Mostly a foot. But I mean, it's a good shaded area, makes a good blanket for them. Yeah, I would have liked to have got that first one in that I missed. That's a good heavy fish. But we still got all kinds of good cypress trees going up towards the East Fork. We got a bunch more going south towards the bridge. Definitely gonna fish this stretch just one more time, and then we're gonna make a decision on what we're gonna do. May go up the East Fork, may go back in the bayou, may go way up there, or I might just head south. So we're coming up here again, got a lot of shade. We're gonna kind of fan cast this a little bit, then I'm gonna pick up that buzz bait and throw it up in here. Make this cast, I'm gonna hit these cypress roots right here with this buzz bait. Where you be, baby? Right here. And I'm just gonna hit the highlights only. I ain't worried about working this buzz bait through the pads. There's really no reason to. I know the fish are on wood. Might luck up and catch one in here. Alright, we're back to the good area where I first. Oh, golly! That was about a 4-pounder. Man. That was a big one. Shade and cypress trees. Boy, this could be a good bloopers video at the end of the day on how not to catch them. When I miss one like that, power pole down like I just did. I'm gonna give it a minute and just kind of fish around here for him. I know he ain't went far. Usually they'll blow up and go back down, but I got a couple brim hitting this Ned rig. That might excite that bass. That's a good bass. I might have pulled him off one of these cypress roots right here. Or like I was talking about earlier, there might be a lay down log that I can't see. I know they're just kind of scattered out here. Little runt, fat fish. Just going to move the camera to get it a little more angled where y'all can see what I'm targeting. And he just wanted to be on TV. So right here, I missed a big one on a buzz bait. I mean, a good 4-pound fish. He demolished that thing, just boom! That was it. Knocked it and said, see you later. I think he could still be around, but I don't think he went too far. Fan casting the shade right here, that's all we're doing. Nothing fancy, just keeping it simple. He hit that buzz bait. I'm gonna throw this KVD splash in here. When they hit this thing, I mean, usually they're caught. There we go. I don't think that's the one that hit me, but a nice keeper. Look at how fat this fish is. I'll say he's a keeper. He's probably right at 14 inches. But yeah, when they hit that splash, they usually crush it. He's been caught a few times. All right, see you fish. Yeah, probably a little 14 1/4 inch fish. I would have traded that one for the other one. So this is the area where I had that big one blow up on me, and I don't really fish this part of the mouth of the bayou ever, just because it's kind of, you know, nothing. But I got out here late. A lot of places I do like to fish, there were people on it, so, and I just said, well, let's just go find some shade and run the shade, and that's all I've been doing. So I mean, everywhere that has cypress trees and shade, that's what I'm looking for. And like I said earlier, the little sandy areas right here, just where they've got sand, and they've got just logs just randomly all over the place. So logs and twigs, and that's all I'm concentrating on. Maybe we'll get a big one before the day's over. We are about to move, and we're either going up the East Fork, down south, or we're gonna go way up this bayou. I hadn't made up my mind yet. I'm gonna make about 3 more casts, and we're taking a boat ride. Like, dude, you've been idling this whole time, now you're gonna take off right beside me? That's a typical party crowd. Yeah, thanks for the wave, bro. Waves, help me out. That's what y'all get. That's a nice little solid one. So I was fighting the voices in my head, and we decided to make a stop at the East Fork. So that's a good keeper, right? Pound 3/4. Biggest one that we've landed so far today, but all I'm doing is just chasing the shade. Got an Xcite baits Sucka punch on right now. That's what I'm throwing. I'll give you a close up in a second. As soon as I can get it re-rigged. Because this is my last one of these. I've got a couple of other packs, but they're at the house. But all that is like a sweet beaver style bait. I kind of thought that was a brim at first because it was tap, 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 and finally it took off. But right here, there is just a ginormous just clump of just trash trees. It's actually an old pine tree top, so typically I wouldn't fish pine trees, but Lake Houston is the exception to that rule. So as long as they're dead, they got to be dead like this one. That's probably the only fish on here, so I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in and let y'all get a good close-up of it. Typically Lake Houston, you pull up to one place, one piece of structure, one fish. That's 99% of the time what happens. Yep, I'm gonna have to find something else to flip with. This guy is done. But that's what that fish was on. He came on kind of the outside. Got a log right here. Got some shade on it. Got a snake falling out of the tree. As long as he doesn't get in the boat, he can stay up there. But we got a few good looking laydowns right here. There's one cypress tree that I'm pitching beside right now. Yeah, it is hot, guys. The wind's blowing out of the east. And we're up against the east bank. So we are cooking right now. So right here, anytime you get a cypress tree, pine tree, tallow tree, and them limbs are in that water, there is a fish on it. I'm gonna go ahead and call my shot. I'm gonna catch one out of there. Especially on this lake. Like 95% of the time I pull up something on like this, there's something there. I wish I had another Sucka punch, but that's it. That's all I got left. I just kind of take my time with it. I don't pick it apart. I just pick what areas of this little structure I think there might be a fish in. he ain't on this one, he might be on the next one. There's several of them like this down there. He might be in this pine tree, which I doubt it. This is a green one. See if I can eat my own words. There's a brim bite. Still don't believe there's not one, especially right there where that tallow tree is. Or he might be on this side. Gosh dang brim, he thump and probably pulled my hook out. Tallow tree right here ought to have something. So if he's not on the tallow, at least on the front side, I'm gonna try the back side. I don't have my live scope on here, so I can't see what's in there. I actually got a fish for him. It was on the back side. And there's still a cypress tree right here, so I'm just gonna go in there with my Ned rig. It's kind of risky with the Ned rig being its exposed hook, but high risk, high reward, right? I at least wanted to get one flip up to him real quick. And that fish could have been on that cypress tree. You never know. I mean, he may have heard the splash and wanted to check out what it was, and I started hopping this guy back, and he said, hey, there's lunch. Yeah, we got all kinds of good cover going down this bank, so we should catch a few more fish. Hoping this cloud cover kind of stays around. And all I'm doing is I'm just hitting the highlights. Not worrying about anything else. Just kind of keeping the trolling motor moving and hitting the very obvious cover. And if it's like a hardwood, like this cypress tree that's right beside us, that's even better. We're gonna get back to pitching and flipping and see what happens. We got two cypress trees right here. That should be a bite. It's a brim bite. And that's a little bass bite. Come here. All right. Out one. Well, calling the shots, so it's not a bad thing. They are on these cypress trees today. And you know, that's another thing too in the summertime. I don't care what body of water you're on. Focus on the shade, focus on your cypress trees. There we go. Not hooked good. Now we're hooked good. Good keeper. So I was actually heading back south and seeing 2 points I wanted to fish. We're still in the East Fork, but one was shallow and this one's a little bit deeper. It's got a channel close to it, and that's a good 1 3/4 fish. That's a 4-pounder. Yeah, all right, thank you, Lord. That is a good one. Yeah, he wasn't coming out. Look how fat that bass is. Yeah, that's a good 4.5 probably. Yeah, baby, there we go. So that one right there, I mean, you've seen, I was fishing that cypress tree, hit it a couple times with crankbaits, and just had that gut feeling to pick up the Texas rig, and yeah, it paid off. I'm gonna get re-rigged. We're probably just gonna go bounce around to cypress trees with shade on them, but I'm gonna chuck this 6XD. There's a couple points up here, so we're gonna throw that just to see. That fish, we're sitting in 23 feet of water, so that fish was probably in 5 or 6, so that says something right there. We're gonna get re-rigged, and we're gonna go chunk the 6XD. That is just spot with a spot right here, and they're just nothing happening at all. Means it is time to go. There we go. Heck yeah, there we go. We'll go put this boat on the trailer and we'll talk about how I caught them today. All right guys, now that we're in the AC and kind of cool, let me take you through the baits and everything. Fun day on Lake Houston. I should have had a really good day if I would have landed the one that blew up on my buzzbait and the other that come off on the buzzbait, but let's take you through the day. So I got out there probably 7:45-ish, maybe a little later. That's part of having toddlers, you know, sometimes you don't get to get out there at daybreak. So I knew I was gonna have a lot of sun and cloud cover mix. So what I decided to do was target banks that had shade on them. And the early part of like September is really good for buzzbaits on Lake Houston. I love throwing buzzbaits on Lake Houston. It's kind of it's more of a river lake because you got the East Fork, you got Luce's Bayou, and you have the West Fork that feed it. So it stays kind of muddy for the most part. Also, the Trinity River feeds Luce's Bayou. Now, if you don't know that, that's kind of the waterfall that you seen earlier in the intro of the video. But anyway, so I'm throwing at first a 3-blade Strike King buzzbait, just in a white color. There's a lot of shad in Lake Houston, and this is what they eat a lot. Shad I'm talking about. And you always kind of want to match the hatch. So I was getting some good blow-ups, caught a couple on this guy, but I wasn't getting the commitment that I should have been getting from him. And I decided not to put a trailer hook on here because I was throwing it way up in like bushes, trying to get way back in them cypress knees, and a lot of times I would rather take my chances on a single hook, make a good cast instead of having a trailer hook kind of screw me, because I've had some awesome casts, knew I should have got bit, but because I had a trailer hook on it, hooked one of these cypress knees or maybe a willow tree or something, and the whole cast is ruined. So, but once I wasn't getting the commitment on that buzzbait, I switched it up to this KVD Splash. Again, it's another shad bait. If you guys are a fan of the channel, you know this guy just wrecked them on Sam Rayburn, had a crazy good day. If you haven't watched that video, you definitely should watch it. The title of it's in the thumbnails, no electronics, no problem. I basically did what I did in today's video. I just went fishing, used my eyes, used my natural talent and skills to find them. But taking this guy, throwing it in the shady spots around the cypress trees. Now, if I would have got out there real early, I would have thrown this on points, because a lot of times out here, these bass will roam these points in Luce's Bayou, the actual main lake itself, and around these different kind of river bends. So getting a little bit later into the day, I decided to pick up a 1.5 size crankbait. This is made by Strike King right here. Tennessee shad color. This is what I usually throw on Lake Conroe when I get out there. It's a really good Conroe color, but I just wanted to try it on Lake Houston. I figured if they eat it out there, why not here? The water, it was actually clean for, it looked like Conroe water. That was kind of the idea behind this too. Usually Lake Houston is pretty muddy for the most part. We haven't had a lot of rain in the last couple of weeks. It's probably gonna get a good downpour this week. But that's the whole reason for this colored crankbait. And listen, that's right, silent. So a lot of times too, just giving them that silent crankbait. I mean, you got a lot of guys out there that do crank. I like throwing them something different. So just throw that right there. You can get all this stuff at Walmart or Academy. Now, the last couple things I did to catch fish, we're getting to the Ned rig real quick, because this was kind of a later day. So this caught a lot of small fish. You guys didn't see every one of them in the video. I think I probably caught, I don't know, 10 on this guy right here, but this is made by Strike King. This is their Rage Ned Bug. If you're a fan of the channel, you know I throw this guy a lot on the Sabine River system. This is actually called the Dirt Color. I'm gonna just pull a brand new one out of the package so you can see what they look like, because they do have some little tentacles on their arms. But that guy right there, I don't know why they eat it so good, but every place I've been to, I used to believe this was a marsh bait, but I'm definitely taking it with me to the lake. So just because it's that good. But all you got to do, like you seen me in the video, just cast and just kind of pitch and flip it around. And I'm throwing an exposed hook. I mean, I'm not pitching it in bushes or in trees. I'm just throwing it around them, and the fish were coming out and eating it. So, oh, one other thing, two things real quick. So, my dumb butt, because it was kind of a spur of the moment trip, I didn't pack what I usually packed. I grabbed my pond box and just threw it in the boat and went out there. So I was flipping this Xcite sucker punch. I only had one, and it was the one that was already on my rod. So I went through, I don't know, I think I caught 5 or 6 on it before they finally ruined it, but just a green pumpkin, blue flake color, caught a lot of fish on it. And once I ruined that one, I went to the old Strike King Rage Craw. This is what I caught the big one on, just in a green pumpkin color. And I would take this bait and just flip it beside any kind of like clumps of just trash in the water, like bushes, kind of like what you'd find on Rayburn, and any kind of cypress tree or hardwood. Just pitch, flip, hop, nobody's home, pick it up, go to the next one. But guys, that is what I did on Lake Houston. Again, if you got any value out of today's video, definitely leave me a thumbs up. I invite you to subscribe if you're brand new here. Believe me, it helps this channel out tremendously. But anyways, guys, hope y'all have a good one. Hopefully we'll see you on Lake Houston soon. Y'all keep God first in your life. We'll see you next time. Take care.